Hi everybody, Nathan Hall here. So weird thing about Astro City, we kind of went from the first story to the last one really fast. Why? Because I wanted to focus on character in the beginning and I wanted to focus on the Samaritan because the Samaritan is kind of an interesting guy. And in our reading guide, we're going to look at this lesson. Three things: origin story, story structure, and negative space. What is negative space? Just look down here after my name. That's all negative space. So things to go over in live class. What was his internal conflict? Who his foils were? We didn't talk much about love interest. Kind of a reason for that. Origin stories. You've seen a lot of them already. And a climax is going to be one of the things we talk about. And one big thing as well. Some panels, like this one, full of details, full of stuff going on. Others, a lot of open space. And there's a reason for that. That's what we're going to look at here. Techniques to show an idea and concept. And then we're going to look at literary, historical, cultural significance as well, with a few things come up. So, tell you right now, here are the vocabulary words we're going to look at. Plot structure. Here we have our story. Roller Coaster chose it. You know what? I'm going to make this plot and story structure. The climax. The good part, the most exciting part, the part you don't want to go for popcorn for during a movie. Resolution. Well, okay, that's all done. But what happened to so-and-so? Juxtapose, way we set up images. Hey, look out, buddy, that drop of water's gonna hit you. That's what saying few words, just a tiny man right under it. But he's not, he's just far away. Negative space. All this white stuff behind this pretty little lady. Why did we bother with blank space? And origin, where we come from. So this time we meet another superheroine this time. We all know the Samaritan's a pastiche of Superman. How about Winged Victory? What's she supposed to be? I got no clue. So some symbols she has. Hey, check out that wreath. Check out the wings. Check out the swords. What do those symbolize? And she is named after this statue, which is of a goddess named Nike. Nike? I never heard that word before. I'm strictly an Adidas man over here. So the origin story. First time we see how he became the Samaritan and later Asa. Every superhero has an origin. Superman's, yeah, we all know it. It shows up in every movie. We don't need to hear it again. Here it is in 8 words. And this is our call to action. Superman never had a choice not to be super. A few stories explored what it'd be like if he ended up in Russia instead, or what if he ended up in an Amish community. Little things like that, and nope, he always ends up becoming Superman one way or another. So, in situations like this, they never had a chance not to be. Batman made a choice to be. So the call to action, kind of like the Greek demigods. You can't choose who your father was, so Hercules couldn't choose that his father was going to be Zeus or Apollo, depending on Roman or Greek legend. The same way Batman could have chosen, darn, my parents got murdered. I'm going to go into intensive therapy and become a philanthropist. No, he decided to become a vigilante. That's his call to action. Whoops, going a little far ahead. The Samaritans is tied in with a real world event. This is something I saw happen, and when you talk to most people, I know now about their mid-30s to 40s, when they were children in school, they watched this. We saw this happen, and it shocked us. It terrified us. Why? Yeah, we'll talk about that in live class. So space shuttle blowing up. It's kind of like the story read last week with Superman and Hitman. Almost a recurring symbol there, isn't it? A space shuttle. What could that be a symbol of? So the Samaritan, he realized his actions saved the future, but also erased his place in the timeline. His family wasn't born. He shouldn't exist, and yet somehow he does. Okay, internal conflict there we'll talk about. So in Dreams follows a more traditional story structure did not follow traditional story structure. Dinner at 8 does. We have our opening. We meet our heroes. Climax, the big exciting part. Then a resolution. Every movie you see is like this. Not joking. We have Act 1. Yeah, if you're going to go for popcorn, this is the time. After the hero realizes he's in danger. Because everything gets reinforced and restated here anyway. My advice is just, go to the bathroom first. So we also have, they see that Winged Victory and the Samaritan share a lot of conflicts. They can't get away from society. They're always kind of crowded. So this kind of thing we're going to talk about here. Look how the art style changes. Here everything's really bright and clear. Here everything's kind of dingy and faded. Same artist. Don't say that was the issue. So in a Winged Victory, she also gets in a special conflict because of her feminist views that also is going to bring her to a conflict with the Samaritan. So they try to share their inner problems and show that, yeah, they're both kind of workaholics. We see here some juxtaposition. We see a happy, normal couple, no cares in the world, or superheroes and identities are kind of being plagued by society, their own concerns, and other things. It'd be great if they could be like this couple, but they can't. Moving forward here. So juxtaposition is a big thing we're going to see in comics, especially when we get to American-born Chinese. We have two images, two storylines right next to each other. So here we have her argument about why she would save a woman over a man, given the choice, and she gives her reasons for it. And this leads to have an argument with the Samaritan who thinks all things are equal. Why pick one over the other? Meanwhile, in the background, other superheroes kind of blocking the bullets. So there's a symbolism there, and it leads up to this big climax, a big battle. They change back in themselves here. The tensions build up. They can't resolve them. It ends in a fight. So a lot of internal issues, and society just won't let up on these two. But we see in the end, they get away from it. And she gives a great speech about the fact she's a normal person trying to be a god. The Samaritan's a god trying to be a normal person. What that shows about them. You know what? And then we'll see if they show growth as individuals. This will be important because soon we're going to look at a villain story. From a villain's point of view, we'll see whether or not villains change and grow like heroes. Because remember, we looked at the hero's journey. The hero has to change. The hero has to realize this is how things are. Coming of age story. Protagonist changes a bit. Sometimes they change the world too, but they change with it. Do villains change? Same we'll look at. And when their external conflicts are removed, they find a moment of peace. So a big concept we'll look at as well, negative space. This panel, we have all this open stuff. If you notice in the diner scene, we're going to go over this in a live class. Sometimes the panels are full of things in the background. Sometimes they're empty. Like right here. It could be put Winged Victory here. Instead we show him alone. So we do see something when we see nothing. We can see Batman or the Joker. Penguin. They're juxtaposed together. What does that show about them? And here we see things moving back and forth to show focus, bring things away, and bring in detail to other things. This happens in prose a lot too, a little more subtly. Great thing about visual novels, we can outright point to the difference instead of just picking out the words. So that'll get us through this week's lesson. Please come to live class if you have any questions. You can find me in the cafe. My hours are on the box on the side. Otherwise, do your best. I'll get the grading done as quick as I can, and that's all for now. Goodbye.